Oh yeah, they can't even.
Oh.
You guys haven't even heard a word we said. We don't have any viewers anyway, so it doesn't.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's good. We're good, Aubrey.
All right, so now click on the share screen.
Oh.
There we go. Ken. Hello.
I think it's coming. We're just trying to catch up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. I think we're
We're
all
good.
set.
Oh man, you want to stay in and hang out?
Okay. Well,
All right, guys.
we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you to everybody who is joining us for Digital Learning Day. My name is Aubrey Harrison. I'm an instructional technology specialist. I am here with my partner in crime. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
I am David Casavecchia.
Mr. David
Mr.
Casavecchia.
Mr.
Mr.
David
Casavecchia is here.
Casavecchia.
Here. Yes, and we are here to present to you guys hassle-free PD. What we want to do is talk to you guys about how to deliver good PD that is timely, that is effective, and that will make a difference in your classrooms for you and your staff members. So hopefully you guys are seeing everything else okay, but we want to run through this with you guys so you can see everything that's going on. So we introduced ourselves. We did want to just throw out our Twitter handle for whatever that's worth. Us individually on Twitter, but we also have a Twitter handle that we use. And we're going to go back through this for technical difficulties again. Try it one more time.
This is a great idea, though. This whole digital learning day sharing.
It is.
I do like this.
And this is something that we hopefully we can
yeah.
do more in the future as we continue to grow in how we use technology in the classroom. So again, we apologize. Just bear with us. We're just trying to get everything set up.
Oh, there we go.
I think we're okay now.
We're back on.
I think we're
good.
I think we're okay now. All right. So again, just a real quick. My name is Aubrey Harrison. David Casavecchia is here.
As quick as we can.
Remember
the micro machine? Remember the micro machine commercial?
Yes.
The guy talked really quick. We're going to go through this really
We're going to go through this very, very fast. But we're also going to make sure that we give you information that you can use. So what we wanted to do is talk to you about why having these kind of things is important. So we know we've experienced plenty of issues when it covering things that we experience here, David, is that there's only a few of us here that's available to deliver PD. We have a very large school district. We have departments, we have schools, we have teachers, students, people all across the district that need assistance. So it's hard for just a few of us kind of PD to such a large amount of people that need it. Also, space is an issue.
Very limited, you know, and then, you know, with space, our district is so big. I mean, we have what, how many schools do we have?
About 160, a little over 160.
Yeah, a little over 160. And, you know, the county is so that, you know, finding space and finding a central location for everybody to meet is a huge concern of ours. So the way we did it is, and the way we're going to talk to you guys about, hopefully fixes that issue, that space issue.
Right. And bear with us for a second. Again, we're going to try to go back and fix it. I know you guys are having a hard time seeing, and we're trying to get our presentations up for you.
Try the stop screen.
You know what's good though, Aubrey, is we see a nice picture of you with a tie.
That is good.
Yeah, purple and pink, it looks like. Breast cancer awareness.
Nope.
That was probably water dumped on your head when we did the ice bucket challenge.
Yeah, it was something like that.
That was good. Good picture though. Nice white background.
Okay, I think we're back up.
So we just leave it like this.
We should. We might have to.
Don't do presentation mode.
Yeah.
So change the URL though from edit to preview.
From this one?
Command End. Let's do this.
Viewer. Now go back to get rid of
Alright.
everything, including edit.
There you go.
Okay.
We're back. I think we're back.
Back for a third time.
Now we have to go even faster.
That's okay. That might be a good thing. Might be a good thing. So we talked about problems with the number of people
Yep.
that can present. We talked
Space,
about the
location.
issues with space, locations, parking, things like that. So those are some issues that we see, but it's not just from our side. And also, let me mention one other thing. One of the difficulties I have with presenting is there's varying levels of people. You have a large group, and some of them are really
Yep.
high flyers. They know a lot, and you want to try to meet. But you might also have some people who just need the bare bones of it, the basics, and they need help getting caught up with that. So you have varying levels of
Just like you do in the
audience
classroom.
members.
Exactly. Just like you do in the classroom. You have students that can move on their own pace, and you have people who need a little bit extra help.
Right.
Kind of like us at pace. You kind of tend to bring the group down a little bit.
I'm glad you think that. But that's from a presenter perspective. But there's also issues from the audience perspective.
Yes.
They have some complications that they have in terms of being able to experience PD as well. So, for example, one of the things that's really hard for teachers to do is to be able to get out of the building. They get
Subs.
stuck in there.
Subs.
Exactly. It's hard to get
Hard to
to
find
get
them, man.
subs. You got to create all these different plans, and it becomes very complicated to try to do all of this stuff to get out to just to learn
I mean,
about some basic tasks that you want to learn more about.
And then you try to do it after school. You know,
Right.
and it's a struggle to do it after school, especially if you have kids or maybe you have another job or whatever the situation is. So just a lot of reasons where you can't get to the location.
Is frankly, some PDs are
These
boring.
aren't very good.
Some PDs are just not very exciting, and it's not always the presenter, and sometimes it's not even always that the topic is bad. It
Or you're
just
forced to go to a PD you're not
Right.
interested in. Or
or
something.
you're not. It doesn't relate to you.
Yes. Yes.
So, I've done PD before for on technology where they have no access to it.
Mhm.
So to talk to them about using a
An
Google
iPad,
Drive
yeah.
or an iPad where
You
they
don't
don't
have
have it,
Yep.
it's not effective for them.
I wonder,
So
if that gorilla has an iPad.
I doubt it.
No.
He looks very happy right
he
now.
doesn't.
Doesn't look
He
very
probably
happy right
doesn't. He probably hasn't seen CLN either.
That's okay, but that's why CLN was
That's
created. We wanted to resolve these PD issues. We wanted to bring PD, make it simple for people to view and easy to access. So what we did have is a quick trailer we want to go ahead and show and let you guys watch. You guys can take a look. CLN is and what we're kind of all about.
DNA is here at the site for Summer Institute.
Hashtag 20% check.
FW, the show that helps you incorporate technology into the classroom.
I'm currently using a Weebly, and I've actually played around with Google Sites or WordPress.
To make it a little bit simpler, we're going to break it down.
It's not a little bit. Yeah. All right. Fine. Welcome to CLN. Every teacher, every day for a better learning experience.
It's me hype.
I love
I know
watching
why
that.
you watching seeing yourself, I think.
I do. I can admit that.
All right, guys. So you're probably wondering how we got started with creating what we call CLN, and I don't even know if we told them what
No,
CLN
we don't
stands
think we
for.
did.
So CLN stands for Network. And CMS, we're obviously, I don't know if you guys heard us before with the difficulties, but we are from Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. So CMS Learns is something we started. How long ago was CMS Learn started?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
believe. So then we just added the network part of it, and it is basically the place where we host all of our professional development videos. So the first thing, and where we started with this idea is we knew what we wanted to do. So we had to create a vision and a mission, and that's a great place to start. Before, you can't just jump in to making videos. We didn't just get into the room, said, hey, here's an iPad, here's a MacBook, here's a video camera, go ahead and get started. We created that vision and that mission for everything.
Right. We had to develop a clear plan and a clear vision for how this whole thing was going to operate, what it was going to look like.
Yeah, it's not we don't agree all the time, and then we're not going to be around forever. So when we leave, we want someone to be able to take over, or when someone comes and they want to kind of be able to pick up where we're at.
Right.
So
one of the first things we did is we want to make sure that we got really organized. We developed an idea, which was essentially we just wanted to make professional development opportunities, video content within our district that they could access when they wanted, how they wanted. It didn't matter if they were on campus or whether they were at home. It didn't matter if they were using an iPad or whether they were using a Chromebook. It didn't matter. We just wanted easy PD, easy access. So we started with that philosophy, and then we started organizing ourselves. We went through Google Drive. We created folders for everything. We had a marketing folder. We have photos with some of the images that we commonly use, videos for all the shows that we were going to create. And we kind of just used this as a way to keep ourselves organized, have a little checks and balances for ourselves. So we always knew where to go back to when we had a question. It was an easy way for us to communicate. So Google Drive was one of our organizational tools that we use. Right. Extremely helpful. And then we started with our shows.
Yes, we did. So an ITW actually was before CLN.
Yes,
Oddly enough,
this
is a weird concept probably to understand, guys. Is ITW was something that's been in our district for about 4 years now, possibly maybe 4 or 5 years. So ITW was before us.
Yes, it was.
But it kind of took a break, and we wanted to rejuvenate it and make it a part of CLN. So ITW is Instructional Technology Weekly, and that's just Aubrey and I kind of go over something, a way to innovate in the classroom. And it's a concept. It's not an app. It's not a device. It's more about different, what would you call it? Just innovation, just methods.
Yes, which we try to do. It's exposure. We're trying to expose teachers to a tool or even a strategy. We've done blended learning. We've done flipped classrooms. But we've also done specific tools as well. But we try to just expose you to what those can open up into your classroom, and then just hopefully inspire teachers to take it on their own and go from there. The next show that we also did from there was App of the Week. Now, App of the Week also was something that we've had before, and we wanted to continue doing that. But before we started, we mostly had iPads in our district, so most of the App of the Weeks that we did were just from the. But we've grown, we have evolved, and we now have a multitude of different devices in our school district. So we have Chromebooks. We have some of our teachers have Revolve, so they can get things from the Windows Store. So we've included those.
I mean, we're so big. We have all sorts of devices all over the district.
And we try to make sure, in particular with the Chrome apps, we've talked about things from the Chrome Web Store. We've talked about Google add-ons. We've talked about extensions.
And it's also good. I just thought about talking here. It's also good because a lot of our schools are BYOT.
Yes.
And so we want, you're not going to know everything about every device. We don't expect anyone to know that, but we want you to have a good resource, a good base for that stuff. So, and that kind of led us prevalently into our third show, and that's TechMint. Is a show that started this year, and it is a show that lasts. How long?
Approximately 1 minute.
Approximately 1 minute. You tend to go over more than I do.
One time I went over.
So so 10 minutes, 1 minute, just how do I choose cells in Excel, something like that. So it could be really anything. So those are our 3 shows: ITW, App of the Week, TechMint.
Right. And so what we did from there is now we have our shows. We have to try to think about the content that we're going to develop. Now, most of this stuff is going to be related to you. The App of the Week, that's fairly simple. The TechMint is fairly straightforward, but the ITW, that can go into a much broader perspective in terms of what that show could be about. So when we looked at how we're going to develop content for that, we kind of had this conversation. What's more important, or what do we need to consider as we're doing it? Is it going to be that we want to get more viewers, or is it that we want to make a really quality show? Because sometimes those don't always match up. Sometimes we can do things, David and I, if you ever watch any of our shows, we play around, have tons of fun, and people respond to that, and they like it, and that increase our viewership. But sometimes David and I we might be a little bit more serious, and we'll make a really great show, but it may not get as many views. And so you kind of have that conflict that going back and forth between what do we do to get more people to view it, and at the same time maintain a high quality show. So you kind of have to toe that fine line between the two. You certainly want to have viewers, but you also want to make sure that whatever you're putting out there is of high quality. So then we get into selecting what kind of content that we have, and we kind of have some different options on how we choose those items.
Yeah, what we've done is, like we talked about before, is everything is organized inside Google Drive. And for App of the Week, for ITW, we have a Google Sheet, and we have the dates where we're going to release a video. In one column, the next column is the date that we're actually going to record it, and the next is the topics. So we're in one of the columns, we decide what content is going to be in each show, and that's typically, I know Aubrey, you look at the analytics.
I do.
So you'll take a look at, okay, well, what in the past has, whether it's on whatever show,
right?
You take a look at all of the shows and take a look at what people want, and that's kind of how we base. ITW. Right. Now, we also look at calendar, things like maybe it's Teacher Appreciation Month.
Digital Learning Day.
Digital Learning Day. That's a great one. So we talk about this.
Our
NC
Ties conferences, things like that.
And that's the first thing that is on we don't really use a calendar per se. It's just a spreadsheet. That's the first thing that goes on that certain days throughout the school year.
Right. We also look at different trends. We also try to pay attention to what's becoming more popular. If you always look at just different publications, either at the beginning of the school year or even at the beginning of a calendar year, you're going to find different articles. You're going to find different publications about what's becoming what's going to be big in the next school year or the next calendar year, whether it be social media or using Google devices or using cloud storage. There's going to be a variety of different topics on there that people are going to predict that are going to be more popular, a little bit more trendy coming into that year. And so you look at those, and then you try to take that in as you're trying to decide what other pieces of content you want to include for your show.
Yeah, and that that can be seen this year when we talked about augmented reality.
Yes,
because I didn't know much about augmented reality, but we knew it was a trend that was extremely popular and something that a lot of these publications thought was going to be popular. So that's one of the shows that we did.
Right. Another good way to topics or to choose topics is if you go to conferences. We just came back from NC Ties, and you get a chance to go around and you look at what other people are presenting, what other people are talking about. You look and see what's popular in terms of the options for what people can go and listen to and learn about, and then you take that in, and then you start including that as a part of your show. So it's just another option to determine what topics, what pieces of content that you want to be in your show.
Also, we take a look at comments and feedback.
Yes.
And then one of the ways that people do that is our shows are hosted primarily on YouTube. So we can take a look at the comments below each episode of the 3 shows. So that's one way we get it. Feedback. And feedback can be done in a few different ways, whether that's on our CMS Learns Facebook account, whether that's through our CMS Learns Twitter account. And we also have an Instagram that we're trying to bring up.
We're working on it.
Yeah, you got to improve.
Yeah,
always got to find ways to improve.
We're going to get there.
And we also have an email address that people have actually gone to. And then last, I just thought about this. We actually had someone send us a request yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Through our website. So we had CLN has a website we created through Google. And on there is a form, and people can submit questions or provide feedback this way. Maybe they don't want to, maybe if we publicly post a comment on YouTube, they have something that's maybe specific to their school. Even though we prefer them to put it on YouTube, this way everyone can see it, because more than likely someone's got that same question. But people do use that form and provide feedback to us.
Right, and David kind of have already touched on this, but we also look at the analytics too. So, for example, if I start to see that as I'm doing App of the Weeks, I'm getting more viewers for my Google products or my Google apps or extensions then I'm probably going to do more of that because that appears to be what people are more interested in. And the same thing goes for when we do any of our other shows. If we start to see there's a trend towards something that's more popular, then we'll try to pay attention to that and be mindful of that as we're presenting future topics.
So talking about a little bit about development. So you know, there's not a lot of time. Let's be honest. There's not a lot of time during the school year.
No, not at all.
To plan this stuff out. So a lot of this was done during the summer. We really spent most of last summer really developing our plan for what we wanted,
right?
Having our vision and our mission,
right? And that could be some things that are small, like the logos,
yeah, we did.
The names of the shows. We did stuff like that, but also other things
tagline.
like,
you did a great job with that tagline.
I like the tagline.
It is.
But we also did things like coming up with all the topics, the dates for all of those. If those topics were going to be at a different location, what to for those topics? What about the people that were going to be involved in that? Sometimes people want to hear other things besides from you and I. They want to hear from teachers that are in the classroom. So we try to involve them as well. So that takes a piece of coordination as well. So there's a lot of pieces that need to fall into place, and it really needs to be done during the summer. Because as David was just saying, to try to get all that together during the school year, there's just so much going on. It's way too difficult.
You're usually out in the schools
exactly.
providing PD for the teachers
exactly.
that way.
Right. So the summer is a very critical time for developing your PD. You have to get that plan together. You have to get your organizational straight, and then you'll be able to have a process in place when the school year starts. So the other thing is help. Now I'm very lucky. You can't carry the load all by yourself. I'm very fortunate. As much if I give David a hard time, he is committed to CLN. He carries as big of a weight project as I do, and we couldn't do this without the other. Yeah. So it's very helpful to make sure that as you're trying to create this kind of process, you need to have at least one other person, if not possibly a team, that will help you carry this through. So because
your team, the team of instructional specialists
exactly
has helped tremendously.
Yes,
we've even reached out to Jake. Jake is our guy in CMS, and Donna's the director, and they provide. I mean, trust me, guys, I don't mind asking anyone for help. I'll Google it first, but when I get stuck, we don't mind asking for help, and even if it's like like some shows for ITW, I'll be gone. Mm-hmm. I like to go to my concerts, so I go to my concerts, and then so someone's got to fill in for me, and the other specialists have been great with helping out. So, but that go back to that communication piece, letting people know so everyone can kind of plan.
Right, and as you get this started, and as you start seeing, the recording of the shows, the editing of the shows, the managing of the websites, the storage of the videos, just getting it out to the people in your school district. There's so much that you have to do. To put all of that on one person's plate is asking a little too much, if you ask me. So having other people there who can take on some of those duties, who can provide different perspectives, who can manage some of the other things, and maybe bring some different resources, some different knowledge, some different experiences, expertise. That can be a huge help as you develop.
We had when we planned this, we had a lot of great ideas. And I still think we do a lot of things that we want to plan and do down the road. And I think one thing that I think we did a pretty good job on it is not doing too much at once.
Yes. Starting
small and making sure we're doing that stuff well before we expand.
Right. So the next thing we wanted to share is making sure you get up to a really good start. When the school year starts, your teachers are excited, they're ready. The students are just getting into the classrooms. Teachers are implementing new things. They have opportunities to try stuff. You're getting them before the testing hits, before the waves of end of grade stuff comes. So the beginning part is very, very important to make sure that you have your videos coming out. They're on time, they're timely, they're entertaining, they're informative, all those different things. You want to make sure that those first couple months are well planned out. You have everything that you need set up, and that the videos are getting out to them. It's important to make sure that first month
You know, and things are going to happen, guys. Things come up. You know, we have a plan for the rest of the school year, but there's going to be weeks or times where someone's going to come and say, "Hey, can you guys do ITW on this?" And that happens from time to time.
Mhm.
So you know, it's not you do what you can, I guess, and as long as you can get off to that good start, it kind of sets the tone, like you said, for the rest.
Right. And just to be clear, that's supposed to say good start.
I was
Like,
about to get. I'll remade this.
just another mistake.
I thought great
DLN.
starts. Great.
Great.
Good.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Either one.
We'll go with that. Okay. So
That looks like our space.
something like that. Our space looks something like this, but you want to make sure that you have a good space. Now, some of you who will have the opportunity to go different places, you'll be able to be more selective about the space that you choose. You'll be able to find a room where you have maybe you can put up a green screen, or
Yep.
at least like we have a sheet, something like that.
Something like that.
Where you can, and then where you can have, you know, decent lighting, maybe not a ton, but maybe a little bit of privacy, so you're not going to be too interrupted. But you want to try to make sure that you have a space where you can create, where you can you do your recording, where you can kind of brainstorm different things. So that's very helpful as you're trying to decide where you're going to make all of these videos happen.
Mhm. And a lot of the space also depends on the type of video you're going to do.
Yeah.
Because people who are watching this and they're getting ideas in their head, they might not be making videos of them live. So they might actually, you know, if you're making PD videos, you might never see the person. So they don't need phenomenal lighting in that situation.
Yes,
You know,
that's very
but
true.
you probably need a good, very strong laptop or desktop
Right.
computer. So
Right, and you may not even need a space. Your video production might just be screencasting, which is
exactly.
perfectly
So
fine.
a lot of it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
Exactly. And just to be clear, this is not our space. Our space looks a little bit more. Oh,
That's not it
that's
either.
not our space. But our space is it's not quite.
I'm not on. What is that? Ice?
No, it's not ice. It's not ice. But our space is nothing like that at all. It's about a 10 by 10
Yep.
room with a sheet that we've hung up. That's a little.
It's not even ironed.
No,
Why
no,
don't you iron
it's not quite iron. I mean, I have other things I got to do. You know, half the room is full of Mac carts and
Yes, it
Chromebook
is,
carts
Chromebooks.
and iPad carts.
It's like the storage room that
Yes,
is also.
but we make it work.
Yes, we do.
We make
And
it
that's
work.
the point.
Yes,
Is that, you know, take whatever you have, whatever tools you have, and make it work for you and for your teachers.
right. We're going to talk to you guys about it's making a process, and having a process will make doing these videos a lot easier. So, for example, we have the app of the week video that we do. The process is very simple. We developed a template for a and the end where that is already set. We have our logos already laid out for it. So now all that has to be done is the recording of a raw footage, which can be done by either me, David, or anybody else in the district for that matter. And then all we have to do is just drag that video in, and now it's done.
Yep.
And it's really that simple. So now we have something set up with a template so that all that needs to be done is the raw footage, drag and drop. Now the app of the week video takes probably 3 minutes to do.
Yeah. Do we, you know, final, I don't know if we're going to talk about it later on
We
down
are,
the presentation. Okay.
Mhm.
But yeah, whatever you're using, whether it's iMovie, Final Cut Pro, there's a ton of them. We'll talk about those. But yeah, we just drag it right in there, and it works out perfectly. But ITW is pretty much done in a similar way.
Yes.
But some shows can be a little bit harder than others. We have a template, and it shows the video is going to be we drag it in. But sometimes we use screencasts. Sometimes we use text to put on top of it.
Mhm.
We use a lot of different things with ITW, and it's a lot harder show to actually create an app of the week. App of the week is you just drag it in. ITW, drag it in, but then you have to edit it.
Yes.
And if you guys go back and watch the ITW shows, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. There's one show that there was 2 Aubreys. There was another show that was 2 of me. There's another show where you're kind of talking to the teacher website one.
Yes.
That was probably one of the hardest ones I thought to
Right.
kind of put together. So those you do everything kind of backwards.
Right.
Like you said. So
Yeah, it's helpful. One of the things that we found is, and in the process for ITW, that we record everything backwards. So
Yep.
instead of starting with the beginning and then going to the middle and then going to the end, we start at the end and then do the
Yep.
middle and then the beginning. And what that allows you to do is it kind of informs you of what's going to happen. And so then now when you start at the beginning of the show, you can kind of you can kind of talk a little bit more about what's going to happen and lead the viewer into it more because you already know what's going to happen. You've already recorded it. It also kind of lets you lead into like some of the songs that we choose at the very beginning.
Yep.
That doesn't happen if we start at the beginning. If you start at the beginning, now you're kind of locked in.
Yeah.
If you go all the way back. If you start at the end, you can let the beginning kind of inform the audience about what's about to happen.
You know, and then what we use Google Drive to share videos as well. But there's a lot of different cloud storages that you can use. But a lot of times Aubrey goes out to the schools and he'll record video at the school, and then he puts them into our CLN Google Drive folder, and then just kind of sends me a text and say, hey, I uploaded everything for gaming in the classroom, and it's in that folder for you to put in. So that's kind of how we organize everything.
So the next thing we want to talk to you guys about is time frames. We want to give you guys some ideas about or help you guys start thinking about the time frames that you want to set for yourself. So I know what we had to do is we had to start thinking about when are we going to do our recording? What days work best for us? We generally do our recordings on Friday. That's the day where we can set aside our time and start doing our recording. Then we got to decide when are they going to go out? When are they going to go on air? And then how are we going to make it available to other people? When is that going to happen? Our process is simple. We record on a Friday, and if everything goes right, if everything's going right, and just to be clear, it's going to happen at some point. Something else will come as to present on something else. It happens, and you just roll with it. But we record on Friday. The video that we record typically is supposed to go out
in a week and a half almost.
Yeah.
Not the following Monday or Tuesday, the week after. So we typically have about 13 days in between? No, not 13, 12.
I mean, we try to record a week in advance.
And the reason why, guys, is because we have something in CMS called CMS Insider, and this goes into publicity because, you know, how else are we going to get these videos out to the teachers? It's not allowed in our district. We can't send an email to every teacher saying, hey, watch these videos. So we have CMS Insider, and that's sent from our communications department to all the staff members in CMS. And what they've done a great job of. They've been a huge help.
Yes, they have.
In publicity for us. So what they do is they embed our videos in their weekly newsletter. And so what we have to do is we have to get those videos to the communications department by Monday so they can be in Tuesday's CMS Insider. So rather than having to work on them over 1 weekend, rather than having to work on them over the weekend and then get them ready for Monday, we record on the previous Friday. So it's about a week and a half lead time is what we like to have.
Right. This next slide is what we were talking about with our space.
That looks familiar.
This is what we record.
Because that's a camera. We usually have a MacBook there.
We used to record with the MacBook. David has a camera now that he brings that is doing that has made things so much better for us in terms of the quality of the picture. It's made a huge difference. But this is our space. It is nothing fancy. There you see no boards. All we have is that camera and the two of us. And then you'll see we have some tape down there on the floor for where we stand. You see our green sheet that we have in the background, and that's where ITW happens. So I mean,
magic happens. Right?
You don't have to have an elaborate space to make good quality videos that teachers are going to want to watch. So you just take advantage of whatever you have.
That's a place to start too. You know,
exactly.
I mean, maybe down the road you get funding of some sort, and you're able to create a different space.
Right. So the next part of this is the people. And this is obviously a very key component of making quality videos. So for ITW, David and I do most of the hosting for that. And one of the things that's important to do is to make sure that whenever you have whoever you choose to be your host, if you do it or whomever else you want to include as a part of the people who are going to be hosting these videos, you want to make sure that these people are engaging. It's very helpful if the people who are watching it, if they have something invested in the person presenting. So we try to do that. David and I joke around. We've had all different kinds of mock competitions and
You poured a
play
bucket of
by
water,
people.
ice water on your
We
head.
did the ice bucket
Yep.
challenge.
We challenged people to it.
We challenged all the people.
I sang.
David sang. That's what I was getting ready to say.
Do
David,
not watch that episode. Do not watch that episode.
you will not watch ITW again
No,
if
you
you watch
won't.
that one.
Or you'll
But-
have nightmares. One.
Right, but we try to personality as we're doing the show, and that's not, it doesn't make the show about us, but it does make people who watch the show, it kind of makes them more open to watching it because they know that we're just having fun with it.
It is.
So the other thing is you're going to bring in other people. David and I don't know everything. We're not experts in all aspects of technology, and plus, even more than that, people who are in the classroom want to hear from people who are in the classroom. So we want to get other people who are doing these things on camera and let them talk about it. So it's important to try to make sure that we get them on there. So we try to make sure that happens. That if you do that, there's a couple of things that you have to be aware of.
Yeah.
So number one, you need to make sure that person
Knows the stuff.
actually knows what they're
Yes.
talking. Actually can elaborate
Not an
on what
expert,
they're
but
doing.
enough to just communicate
Exactly.
with everyone and share their experience with it.
Right. And the other thing is the person needs to be able to do that on camera. They need to be able to explain what they're saying and what they're doing and what they've experienced, and be able to do it on camera. Some people either do it and their explanation kind of goes beyond what is can be put on camera. And some people, when you get there and you turn the camera on, they get extremely camera shy to the point where they don't even want to be on at all, which is completely understandable. I certainly do not expect everybody to get on camera the way David and I do. So it's important to have some plan B so that when you go to a guest and you say, look, we're going to be in the show, and then all of a sudden they get cold feet and decided not to, have some plan Bs. There's some small things that you can do. Like, for example, instead of the person being on camera visibly, you can have them do a voiceover like on a screencast. That way they can be involved, but they're not being seen, and they get to share what they're comfortable with.
Yep.
So all different ways where you can include other people as a part of your production.
Yeah, so going into the production tools, like Aubrey mentioned before, he showed you the room that we had to work with. And typically, when we started ITW, when we started App of the Week and Tech Minute, everything was done. We used a MacBook Pro. So that was our device of choice. Now we have moved on to using an actual DSLR camera, but you can use anything. You can use an iPad. You can use different cameras. Anything you saw, I don't know if you watched that Modern Family episode. I think I mentioned it to you.
Yep.
Watching that Modern Family, it was done completely on a MacBook. Everything using that FaceTime. I think there was a movie that was done using Final Cut Pro.
Toy Story.
Was it Toy Story?
I believe it was Toy Story.
It was one video. I'm not really sure.
I think it was
But
Toy Story.
Yeah, so everything was done completely in Final Cut Pro, and that is our video editing software that we like to use. But there's all types of video editing software depending on the tools that you have. Final Cut Pro, iMovie, Adobe Premiere, Camtasia, a ton of them. So take a look at what devices you have, and those should be the tools that you should use. But try to become familiar. Aubrey and I are by no means experts of Final Cut Pro, but we have learned. We YouTube a lot of stuff. We Google
Self-taught.
it. Yep, that's exactly how we do it. So so find out what tools you have to actually. That's an actually old camera.
Very old.
Good.
That's okay.
Probably right when you were born.
Also, it's and this is really where the part that the team comes in, because Rebecca Thompson is one of our specialists. She's terrific at making sure that we get really good shots. Knowing to have a close-up shot, knowing when to have a wide shot, and knowing which ones to have and when to do it. And you may not have that at all. So this may mean nothing to you. So you may not even have this opportunity. But if you do, it is good to be skillful at your craft and know what kind of shots are appropriate at what points of time. So if you are at a point where you could do that, be mindful of what kind of shots that you're using for each shot.
And then the big part, the meat and potatoes of it.
Right.
You
get into a record and you're putting your videos together. You're in the studio.
We got to remember that mission. Going back to day one when you and I sat down and said, okay, we're making CLN. What is our mission and our vision for what we want to accomplish? Not only does CLN have a mission and a vision, but also each one of our shows has a separate vision and mission underneath that.
Mhm.
Okay, so making sure that the meat and potatoes, the main part of your video accomplishes that each episode.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's easy in the middle of a show to forget what your mission is and to veer off of it. But you always need to have that reminder, whether it be just something where you stick it somewhere in the room or on your laptop, wherever your recording device is. It's important to make sure that you stick to whatever your mission is as you are doing your recordings. So we talked about this one a little bit already, where we house our videos. Now we house our videos on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Right. So YouTube provides a few advantages in terms of the ability to host it on YouTube.
Yep.
On YouTube.
Annotations. Yep.
You get some analytics on YouTube, so you can kind of get a better idea of what people are watching, when they're watching it, demographics. Things
you know,
like that.
and a lot of it depends on who your audience is as well. You know, because we did use iTunes U.
We did,
and we still kind of do a little bit, but we kind of found that YouTube, and that's what everyone's familiar with, because we want, we want to help people in CMS. That is our number one goal, helping the teachers in CMS in order to help the students, because that is our ultimate goal of CLN and every episode. But we also want to share this with everybody.
Yes.
You know, we're fine with people from Alaska. I think, where was the farthest we've had a viewer? Did we have someone in Europe or something?
Yeah,
Africa?
I think we did have someone from like China or something.
Yeah,
like
and I got excited.
Worldwide.
Yes,
CLN going worldwide.
World famous.
Yeah. So now the other thing is we have to make sure that we can effectively alert our audience. Now we can't send an alert to everybody in our school district. So what we do is we rely on schools. We identify tech leaders at all of our schools, and we send them email communications with links to our videos each week. Now we like to use Formule, and I use that because it gives me the opportunity to personalize the email. So in the email, while the same email is going out to everybody, I can put the person's name and their school in there, or whatever information I want to in Formula. So I can personalize an email. So instead of me saying, "Hey everybody, here's this week's videos," I can say, "Hey David Casabecchia at." That's
nice.
Yeah, I can put that personalized information in there and send that email to them, and that is then distributed to all the teachers throughout our school. And then marketing as well.
That's huge. In a few different ways we do it. We have built a great relationship with the communication department. They've done a great job, and I've kind of already mentioned that, so I'm not going to hit on that again.
Right.
But we also put stuff out on Twitter. Anytime that we post a video on our channel, it automatically goes out to Google+.
Yep.
And we also utilize Facebook as well. So those are the big ways we kind of market everything within our district, and we kind of promote each one of those as well, because our Twitter isn't just used for CLN videos. It's used for everything that we do inside CMS Learns.
Right. And we try to work within our district. Like we said, we work with our communications department. At the very beginning of the school year, we kind of had a social media committee.
We did.
And we worked with them to help us post, because neither David or I are very good at very good at social media. It's one of our faults that I know I'm working on. I don't know about
I'm not going to lie, guys. I just...
That's okay.
I'll try.
But
2016.
We had people in our school district who are good at social media,
and they like
who are on a regular basis. Yeah. They assisted us with getting the word out about CMS Learn. So it's important for us to get that word out with them, and then let them help us spread that word. So we also think it's important to make sure we get our teachers involved in this as well. So we've done a lot of different things. We've done comments. Right now, we're hosting a bracket challenge where instead of teams, just like you would see on March Madness brackets, we have tools instead, and we're letting our tech leaders vote. And then the winner is going to get a free trip to a conference. But that's just one way we can get them involved in our show.
Just like in the classroom, guys. Anytime you can get students involved, they're going to learn more.
Exactly.
Anytime we can get teachers involved in CLN, they're going to like it more, and they're going to be more involved in it. So that goes right into just visibility. How do we get the name out there? Well, we can send those emails. That's great. But a lot of times the teachers will see those emails and, just kind of ignore them. So one thing we just did is we just made some shirts that the team wears around, and that were also
very popular.
Yes, gorgeous t-shirts.
Very popular at NC Ties.
Yes, they were. So they kind of got me off my train of thought. How popular they were. No, but what else we did is we made posters as well that we're going to be putting just around schools in the teacher workrooms. Yeah. And the t-shirts, by the way, have a QR code on the back that anyone can scan. So whether you're at the mall or wherever, just gets the name out.
And this is the QR code, and we're just gonna wrap this up. But this is where, if you wanted to, we could subscribe to CLN. So this will take you to our YouTube channel. You'd be able to subscribe. This is what they were talking about when they appear at the back of the T-shirts. You'd be able to scan that, and you subscribe, and then whenever we post our videos, you would be able to see that. We did want to leave our communication information with you. So if you guys ever wanted to contact us, we are always looking for your thoughts and your feedback. You can send us a tweet at CMS to the core, and you can send us an email at cln@cms.k12.nc.us. We also have a feedback form, so you can always share feedback with us. We just had someone from, I believe it was Orange County, sent us on our feedback form.
Great.
And there's a jump to our website right there. So if you ever wanted to find more information about us, you're more than welcome to. We probably won't have time to answer any questions. That's okay.
We like to talk. If you guys haven't noticed,
yeah, it happens. But we did want to leave our leave this evaluation form. Let us know what you thought. If this was helpful at all, we do want to revamp this. Feel free to go here and choose that. Go to that link and complete your survey.
I like the upside, the thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Yeah, well, I had to be there. Well, that's all that we have for this Google Hangouts on air.
Can we ask questions?
I'm not sure that we have any.
I don't know if we're able to do the Q&A on the left-hand side.
But for anybody that was here,
I prefer Dominique Dawes. That's one.
Okay.
Remember, that was the one that I asked you with the ice.
Oh, right.
Let's take a look. Can we look at these real quick? Do we have time? I guess people can kind of go out of it. The reporter looks mean. Huh. Oh, I remember that slide.
Okay.
That's like looking at these.
That's
you can end it if you want.
But thank you everyone for coming, for listening to us blabber on about CLN. But hopefully you got something out of it on being able to create quality video content PD for students or for teachers at your school district.